Everyone, DFG here. Hey guys, new year, new rules. This message is something I want to share with the Hebrew Israelites, copper color Aboriginal people here on Turtle Island. I know some of you still call yourself black and African American and colored Negro, whatever, but who you are doesn't change because you don't know who you are. All right, so I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to call you about who you are. I'm going to call you who you are respectfully. I'm going to call you who you are out of love. I'm going to call you who you are because that's what Yahweh calls you, okay? He called you the Hebrew Israelites. So I want to talk to you Hebrew Israelites, and anyone else who choose to listen in. As always, you're welcome, to share in, listen into this conversation or this message. Now, first I'm going to start this way. I'm going to start with a verse of scripture. Again, talking to the Hebrew Israelites, the people of Yahweh, the original people, the one and only. There's no other. All right? I'm going to start with a verse of scripture. I'm going to go to the book of Isaiah. And this is what I'll challenge you to do. Do the same thing too. If you haven't got a Bible, buy one. If you do have one, get it. And that way you can validate what Yahweh is saying to you, using me as a vessel to share this knowledge with you, okay? And this is important knowledge. So, Hebrew Israelites, Isaiah 56:10. Here's what it says. It says, his watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs, D-O-G-S. They cannot bark, sleeping meaning lazy, laying down, loving to slumber. Be about foolishness. Yes, they are all greedy dogs, which can never have enough. They are all shepherds. Now get that word shepherds, because I'm going somewhere. Shepherds. The watchmen and the shepherds are the same people, okay? They are shepherds that cannot understand. Wow. They all look to their own way, everyone for his own gain from his own quarter. You know what Yahweh is telling us? That we as a people should get out of these heathen churches. We as a people should get out of this heathen religion. Yet all this religion is built around Catholicism. Okay? From the Catholic Church is where its origin came from. Not the scripture, the religion. These shepherds and watchmen that he's talking about, those are those preachers in those churches. That's exactly who he's talking about. And we don't have to get into these priests, the pedophiles, the organization, the corporation of child molesters, the priest, nun group, that group. We're not even talking about them. That they're so diabolical that they're not even worthy of discussion. So obviously, if you're practicing that dogmatic stuff, if you haven't come out of there by now, it's only because you love what they do. I don't care what you don't have understanding. I'm going to be respectful here. I don't mean to disrespect you. But you lack understanding. You lack knowledge. And as the scripture say, Yahweh's people perish for a lack of knowledge. I think that's Hosea 4:6. Look that up, okay? If I'm wrong, one of you guys can let me know in the comment section down there. But when it talks about these watchmen are blind, these shepherds are blind. They lean to their own understanding. They're a bunch of dumb, greedy dogs that can never have enough. When you look at the so-called church structure today, Baptist, Methodist, Pentecostal, all of them, if they have nothing in mind, the one thing they all have, if they have nothing that's consistent about them, there is one thing that's 100% you can't argue that is consistent about them. So I guess there's one thing that's consistent about all those other things where they differ. So some of you guys who are Baptists, and some of you guys who are Methodists, and some of you guys who are African Methodists, etc., that you have your differences. But the one thing that you all have in common, you're shepherds. And I'm going to tell you that one thing is, they're all after your money. That's what the scripture says in Isaiah. Say they can never have enough. They're dumb, greedy dogs. They have a big church, they want a bigger church. They have a nice car, they want a nicer car. They have a large house, they want a mansion. And they sell you on the lie that this is what Yahweh would have you to do. Bring your money to Yahweh. If you love Yahweh, if you don't give Yahweh your money, which means them, lying prophets, because they put themselves in the place of the Most High. Because if you think that Yahweh needs your money, think about that. Why would the creator of everything, every single thing on this planet was created by Yahweh? Can anybody tell me why it would narrow down to him just wanting your money? You and your money? Yet every one of these churches you go into, if they don't do nothing else, they have their collections, their offerings, and their tithes. They are talking about it with a rare occasion, rare few. So I'm not talking about them, 100% of them, but I would tell you that 99% of them. And when they're preaching to you, they're preaching to you like the scripture called them. Let me go back to it one more time. They are greedy dogs which can never have enough. They are greedy dogs that can never have enough. Now, how do you please someone who can never have enough? And if Yahweh called them dogs, do you know Yeshua said you shouldn't cast your pearls, to the swine, or don't give what's holy to the dogs? Now, he's calling them dogs, and you giving them your resources, dogs. Isaiah called them greedy dogs. Yeshua told you, don't give what's holy to the dogs. Because they're just going to want more and more and more. And he said, like the dogs do, they go back to their own vomit. That's what they eat, and then they throw it up, and they eat it again. Now, here's one of the things I want you to ask a question. You know, as a younger man, let me share a 30-second story. Younger man, I was confused about how to survive in America. Because I grew up in an area where everything that was being promoted to us was called, in the movies and the theaters, was what they were called black exploitation. They called it black exploitation. And we had everything from Black Caesar to Mac, Willie D, Superfly, Trouble Man. You guys who are in my age group, you know who I'm talking about. Everything was telling us you had to be a pimp. You had to be a pimp to make it. You had to be a hustler to make it. You had to be, a slayer of women to make it. You know what I'm saying? You had to, because the women is where you want to be. That's how you're going to get your money. Big Daddy Slim. The Reverend Ikes of the world. You know what I'm saying? The money is the answer to all problem, guys. Okay? You notice you don't see those guys out on the street anymore? The hustlers, the pimps. You know why you don't see them on the streets anymore? I want you to listen real carefully. Hebrew Israelites. You don't see them on the streets anymore hustling your women or using your women, using you black women. Because guess what? They're in the church. That's why they're not on the corner. The pimp went from the corner, hustling you, to the church, using you. He used you on the streets, had you go out and do all the work and bring him the money. And now he's in the church having you go out do all the work and bringing you the money, selling you lies and deceptions. Do you know that the churches are paid not to tell you that you are Hebrew Israelites? I'm talking about copper color people. Do you know that the churches are paid, pastors and preachers all over America are paid not to tell you that the colored people, black people, aboriginal people of America are the Hebrew Israelites? They're paid not to tell you that. Think about how conspiratory that is. And the bigger question is, why? So that's the question that we never ask. We get into this black empowerment, or, I'm using that word, black empowerment, but we never get to the crux of it. Peel back all the layers and get down to the core. What is this all about at the end of the day? You follow me? And what it's about at the end of the day is that I don't want you to know who you are, because once you know who you are, truly who you are, by teaching you from the scripture, then there's no holding you back. Then there's no holding you down. There's no more tearing you down. There's no more slave ship narrative. There's no more nigger narrative. There's no more, lazy black men and welfare queen black women narrative. You see, they would not be able to push that upon you like they do. And at the same time tell you you're the chosen people of the Most High. They couldn't do both. So what they have to do is lie to you and tell you that you're somebody that you're not. So they can keep you segregated to the very, very bottom of the barrel. And then when you like crab fighting, trying to get out of the barrel, they accuse you of being crabs, pulling each other down. You're only pulling each other down because they told you that's where you're supposed to be, down. And these preachers, these dumb, greedy dogs, these watchmen, these shepherds, were to tell you the truth, they would no longer be able to control you, and they definitely would no longer be able to hoodwink you, con you out of your hard-earned resources. In other words, they'd have to go get real jobs and learn how to do something outside of talking smack and lying to you and telling you that somebody else is you. How deceitful that is. I'm gonna close this because I want you to fact check me. If you don't believe that you are the Hebrew Israelite, I want you to go to Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. Then I want you to go to Revelation chapter 3, verse 9. That's easy. Revelations 2 and 9, Revelation 3 and 9. And here I'm going to tell you what you're going to find there. You're going to find Yeshua, the most saying that I know who they are who lie and say they are Jews, but are not. But they are the devils. They are the children of the devil. That's... I guess somebody's going to accuse me of writing this Bible in a minute. I didn't write it. And since you believe in it, most of you people who believe in the faith, then why would you accuse me? Why would you hate me for telling you this truth? I don't hate you. That's why I'm bringing forth this truth. Truly, I don't hate anything but wickedness. And if there is someone who treats us wickedly as a people, yes, I do hate any of them who are wicked and evil towards us. Yes, I do hate them. I hate them with a pure hatred. And any of them, or anyone who's not Hebrew, Israelite, that walk in love and friendship towards me, I walk in love and friendship towards them. All right? But those are the facts. So this year, that's what I'm going to say to you. You follow me? A new beginning, a new time. Learn the truth. What did Yeshua say? You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So if he's telling you the truth will set you free, then apparently there's something else he was trying to say to you. He was telling you that maybe you've been believing a lie. You know, maybe you were institutionalized as a child and brought up in these religious organizations and lied to. I don't know about you guys, but I know as a kid I was. I mean, the only Jesus I ever saw was white, Caucasian, as a child. That's the only one I ever saw. And nobody was coming there saying, oh, that's not Jesus. Nobody ever told me that. And then when I bring it up, they accuse me of giving him a color. The color doesn't matter. If color doesn't matter, why did y'all have him white? If color didn't matter, why were you guys, I'm talking about Europeans, why did you allow that to be pushed in these churches all over America, including the white church, if there's such thing as a white and a black church, and there was a period of time there was one. Why did you guys teach your people that Jesus was white, Yeshua, if color does not matter? Now when I tell you that color does matter and we're that color, now you hate me for the same truth that you loved when you didn't know what the truth was. So again, you know, this is what I'm saying to you. Copper color, Hebrew Israelites, Native Americans. It's time to put down the lie and pick up the truth. If you ever want to see the best that Yahweh has for you, if you want to walk in the power and the strength of the Most High, you cannot walk in the lies of the heathen. You cannot celebrate the days of the heathen. There's 3 days that the scriptures tell you that you should worship. You know what I'm saying? That you should pay homage to. 3 days in a year. That's in Exodus chapter 23. Read it for yourself. They'll tell you what those 3 days are. All these other holy days, whatever days they call them, we have no business participating in that. But that's a decision for you to make, depending on who you want to honor. Their gods are the Most High. In the end, we'll all know the truth. And I suspect his word is truth. Sorry for going so long, but had to get it all out. DFG, peace. Talk to you guys later. Bye now.